Hi, it's Katrina. Number 10. Ancient Astronomers. The ancient Babylonians were not the only ones who had advanced secret knowledge. There were a lot of cultures around the world that had shockingly sophisticated awareness of the stars. These ancient astronomers all seemed to start observing the cosmos at around the same time, almost as if they were motivated by the same thing. Ancient tablets from Mesopotamia have been found with carved images of the position of the planets in the sky. This was a rather impressive thing to do, considering they didn't even have telescopes at the time. Even more amazing is that a lot of ancient structures were built to be aligned directly with the cardinal directions, north, east, south, and west. Either that, or they were made to point directly at celestial bodies. For example, Stonehenge was built as a way to predict eclipses. Or at least scientists agree that that was one of its many astronomical functions. Then there's the Great Pyramid of Egypt, a perfect example of ancient astronomy so extreme it doesn't make sense. The very top of the pyramid was once covered in a capstone. This stone was either pure white or made out of solid gold. Whatever it was made out of, it was aligned within 1/15th of a degree in the direction of the Earth's very own rotation. How the Egyptians could have possibly known about the Earth's rotation is baffling. Many have speculated that the Egyptians and other advanced astronomers of the ancient world were given knowledge of the universe they couldn't possibly have learned alone. Or, more likely, is that ancient people were a lot more intelligent than we give them credit for. I am very happy to announce that this video is brought to you by CuriosityStream. If you like our channel, you will definitely enjoy CuriosityStream. It's the best place to watch documentaries about science, history, technology, nature, travel, and so much more. They have exclusive award-winning films and shows that you can't watch anywhere else. They have a new show called Volcanoes: The Fires of Creation that shows incredible footage as scientists try to uncover their mysteries. For you history aficionados, there are some great history videos, for example, Crash Course in European History that's full of fun and crazy facts. Who doesn't like that? You can think of it as the Hulu for history buffs or the Disney Plus for the scientist in us. It's a subscription-based streaming service that offers thousands of documentaries and non-fiction titles from some of the world's best filmmakers. CuriosityStream offers the deepest collection of the best documentaries from around the world, and for an incredible price. Available worldwide, it's the service for people who want to learn, explore, and understand more about anything and everything. And new shows are added every week. You can watch on all of your favorite streaming devices, so check it out. Go to curiositystream.com/origins or scan the QR code for unlimited access to the world's top documentaries and nonfiction series. And for our fans, use promo code ORIGINS and you will save 25% off. It's already one of the most affordable and best deals in streaming. So click the link below or go to curiositystream.com/origins and save 25% right now. Number 9. Babylonian mathematicians. Scientists just can't seem to figure out how ancient Babylonians were such brilliant mathematicians. In 2017, researchers in Australia finished investigating an ancient clay tablet from 3,700 years ago. The tablet shows what is believed to be the oldest trigonometric table in existence. It also appears to be the most accurate, showing an almost unbelievable level of mathematical intelligence. The tablet would have allowed ancient architects and engineers to construct palaces and temples with extreme precision. They also would have been able to create things like canals, aqueducts, and other engineering marvels using expert math. The new research done in Australia indisputably shows that the Babylonians reached mathematical heights that wouldn't be achieved by the Greeks for another 1,000 years. The tablet they were researching is known as Plimpton 322, which was uncovered in Iraq by Edgar Banks in the early 1900s. Edgar was the antiquities dealer and archaeologist whom Indiana Jones was based on. The tablet shows 4 columns and 15 rows of numbers, and it has continued to puzzle scientists since it was found. According to Dr. Daniel Mansfield from the School of Mathematics and Statistics at the University of South Wales, the numbers on the tablet are arranged in a precise pattern called Pythagorean triples. This series of numbers is named after the famous Greek mathematician Pythagoras, though we now know that he wasn't the one who originally came up with the formula. The tablet itself isn't that mysterious. It's a tool for understanding ratios of right-angled triangles using advanced trigonometry. The real mystery that nobody can solve is how the Babylonians figured out such an advanced form of math. Even crazier is that they created this tablet about 200 years before they invented the wheel. Number 8. The Nazca Lines. The Nazca culture of ancient Peru created one of the greatest collections of geoglyphs in the world 2,000 years ago. A little over 200 miles from the capital of Lima, just outside the modern town of Nazca, there are over 800 perfectly straight lines drawn in the sand. There are also 300 strange geometric patterns and 70 biomorphic designs, things like animals and plants. Some of the lines are up to 30 miles long, while many of the figures are longer than the Empire State Building is tall, the longest of them being 1,200 feet. Even more shocking is that the only way to see these creations is from above. You have to be flying over the desert if you want to see the Nazca Lines. Otherwise, you wouldn't even know you were walking through a massive drawing of a monkey. There are a lot of different shapes. There's a giant spider, a monkey, a lizard, and a duck. There are also lots of plants drawn in the sand as well, like trees and flowers, but there is one geoglyph in particular that scientists have a difficult time accepting. It's nicknamed the astronaut because it seems to depict a humanoid figure dressed in a spacesuit. He also appears to be waving at the sky, as if he was drawn there to say hello to any friendly aliens who might be hovering in the atmosphere. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Number 7. The Pitony Sky Stones. The Italian geologist Angelo Pitony purchased a small collection of blue stones from a tribal chief in Sierra Leone in 1990. According to the Fula tribe, these stones came from extraterrestrial visitors from the sky. The stones were bright blue and veined with ribbons of white, so the geologist purchased them, even though the story behind them was a little crazy. When Angelo returned to Europe, he gave the stones to scientists to get them tested. Everyone was shocked when these stones didn't match any mineral known to science. In other words, these stones were made out of something completely unknown. Of course, they were mostly made of oxygen, with the usual amounts of carbon and calcium, but there was a third unidentified organic compound that scientists have never been able to identify. However, they did date the stones at being about 55,000 years old. But just how true is this story? Angelo Pitony was a very real person. We even have photographs of him with the mysterious blue stones. But there isn't much information available about his life. He's been credited with all kinds of strange discoveries, and he's allegedly connected to the CIA. The stones themselves are just as mysterious. We have pictures of them, and they appear to be real, but the stones also seem to have been sold off to the highest bidders across the world. A gem dealer in Hong Kong was allegedly in possession of one in 2013. However, he refused to hand over even a fragment of his precious rock to be studied by scientists. Number 6. Scorpion Men. In ancient Babylonian myths, there are strange beings called the Akrabuamelu. These were scorpion men, half scorpion and half man. They had the head, torso, and arms of a human, but their entire lower body was that of a gigantic scorpion. They were the Babylonian version of centaurs, but with scorpion parts instead of horse parts. You get it. Their existence dates back to the beginning of time. The earliest Babylonian legends speak of the creator god Tiamat summoning the Akrabuamelu to fight in a war against the younger gods following a dramatic betrayal by Tiamat's mate, Apsu. Centuries later, we see a mention of the scorpion men again in the famous Epic of Gilgamesh. These freakish hybrids were charged with guarding the gates to Kurnugi, otherwise known as the Land of Darkness. The Akrabuamelu continued to evolve in stories told over the years. The Akkadians believed in scorpion men as well, saying they would terrify people for sport, and that they could kill a man simply by looking at him. This may just sound like a myth, but here's where things get weird. The Aztec also spoke of creatures that were part human and part scorpion. They were called tsitsi mime and were said to be the result of disgraced gods cast out of the sky. In other words, beings from other worlds that fell to Earth. It's easy to dismiss such creatures as nonsense, but there is no denying that they were viewed as real beings by two different cultures on opposite sides of the world. Two cultures who never even met one another, that we know of. Do you believe there could have once been giant scorpion men wandering around the planet? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join us. Number 5. The Giants Causeway. The Giants Causeway in Northern Ireland is one of the strangest places on the planet. The causeway is made from over 40,000 interlocking columns. These columns look artificial, like they were made on purpose by people using advanced technology. But according to scientists, they were made by volcanic eruptions between 50 and 60 million years ago. The Giants Causeway has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1986, but long before that, it was a place of legend. The Irish believed the Giants Causeway once stretched all the way from Northern Ireland to Scotland, and that it was used as a bridge by Finn McCool, a mythical warrior. Finn made the bridge himself so that he could reach his rival on the other side, a giant called Benandonner. But as the giants fought, the bridge shattered and was never put back together again. These days, the stories are generally accepted to be nothing but myths, and yet some have claimed to witness a massive door opening at the Giants Causeway, one which leads inside the columns. It's most likely nothing, but it's certainly something that scientists can't explain. But there are those who believe the Giants Causeway is more than just volcanic rock, and that the mysterious doorway leads to another world. Number 4. Alaskan Mermaid. Inuit folklore speaks of a creature called Kalupiluit, a monster that's sort of like the boogeyman mixed with a disgusting merman or mermaid. The creature was said to kidnap children who misbehaved by snatching them from the shores of lakes and ponds. If the Kalupiluit found a child alone, it would drown them. The mythical monster was said to live in these bodies of water. It was a humanoid being, sometimes resembling a feminine creature. However, other times it was described as a more masculine creature with slimy green skin. It was the Inuit version of the evil mermaid, and some believe it could be real. The Kalupiluit supposedly resides in Alaska and the Northern Territories of Canada. One of its alleged homes happens to be in the Bermuda Triangle of Alaska. This is a place where an estimated 16,000 people have vanished since 1988. It's a huge chunk of wilderness, larger than most states in the United States, and yet almost nobody lives there. But despite having very few residents, the missing person rate is roughly twice the national average. Scientists have never been able to explain all the mysterious disappearances here, but if you ask some people, they'll tell you the Kalupiluit is responsible. If the local legends are to be believed, the evil green mermaid is out there somewhere, drowning people who get lost and wander too close to the water. Number 3. Circles of Stone. Despite being 6,000 miles apart, Japan and Britain have some surprising parallels. Even Ireland and China are connected through ancient archaeology. About 5,000 years ago, communities in England, Ireland, China, and Japan were building huge structures out of stone. They made elaborate stone circles and crafted unique ceramic containers. They even figured out how to master stone tools. In Japan, the ancient Jomon specialized in creating clay figurines known as dogu. These figurines were made between 14,000 and 400 BC and have been found buried at sites of prehistoric stone circles. Some people have even described the dogu as alien figurines. This is because they look nothing like human beings. They seem to depict visitors wearing spacesuits, with huge bulky limbs and bulging eyes. Archaeologists claim the figures were representations of goddesses and spirits, but others say they were made in the likeness of visitors from the stars. On the other side of the world in Britain, people were building Stonehenge. It's a really strange coincidence that at the same time the Jomon began crafting their own stone circles and making figurines that looked like aliens, Early Britons were doing these same things. It was also happening in nearby places, geographically speaking, like China and Ireland. There is a theory that says the reason for the similarities is that in both the East and the West, prehistoric people received the same mysterious visitors. Number 2. The Hunt of the Unicorn. The Hunt of the Unicorn has nothing to do with child-murdering mermaids or mutant humans with scorpion tails. This is a very real series of 7 monumental tapestries. When put together, The Hunt of the Unicorn is considered one of the greatest artworks in human history. The tapestries show noblemen joined by their huntsmen and hounds slaying a unicorn. They first pursue the magical beast through the forest before killing it, and then they bring it back to the castle. But in the final tapestry, the unicorn is resurrected in a garden, where it appears to be fenced in by those who captured it. The mystery here is simple. Nobody knows who created the tapestries. We don't know who designed the panels or who weaved them, and we don't know who is depicted in the scenes. The first record of the tapestries is in 1680, although most historians believe they were likely created almost 200 years earlier in 1495, just a few years after Columbus discovered America. Number 1. King Solomon's Mines. King Solomon of Israel was the son of King David in the Bible. Much like his father, Solomon was praised across the world for his wisdom and power, as well as the unbelievable fortune he amassed. Many historians agree that Solomon may have been the wealthiest man in the ancient world, but scientists have never been able to find the source of King Solomon's riches. It's a mystery that's still boggling researchers to this day. In the 19th century, author H. Rider Haggard came up with the idea that King Solomon established his own mines. According to Haggard, these mines were supposedly the source of his wealth, but they've been lost for thousands of years. About 50 years after Haggard, American archaeologist Nelson Gleck made the outrageous claim that he found King Solomon's mines. They were supposedly hidden in the Great Rift Valley near the border of Israel and Jordan. They weren't full of gold, but instead were used for the smelting of copper. Nelson claimed it was copper that made King Solomon so rich. But when archaeological evidence couldn't be connected to biblical accounts, researchers began to dismiss Nelson's claims. Archaeologists are still trying to find the location of the mines that made King Solomon rich. We know there are highly organized mining sites spread throughout much of the Near East and Mideast, and that the Egyptians built lots of mines as well. Archaeologists just can't find the ones that made King Solomon the wealthiest man alive 3,000 years ago. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon. Bye!